This is Ray.
This is Andy.
This is FDS NFL, Andy.
Week 3.
Week 3 is in the books. What a week it was, wasn't it?
It was a week. It was a week, Ray.
Well, we'll talk about the weeks in a few minutes. Before we do that, Andy, there's something very important we got to do. And the first thing we got to do is we got to talk about our sponsors.
If you need a beer, whether you had a great week that you're looking to celebrate or you had an awful week that you were looking to tolerate, get yourself a Moose Light. Why?
Because it's scary good. This is scary good.
It is scary good. And if you've forgotten all of your Browns attire and you need something else with a cool logo, like this First Down Sports shirt or, hat, go see our buddies, the Doyles at Doyle Corporate Image.
Because the Doyles rule.
They do rule.
Doyles rule. All right, Andy, let's talk some football because... I tell you, things are kind of exciting right now as a Bills fan.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell.
A little exciting right now.
Yep.
All right, let's talk. The Bills were at home for their home opener, and the crowd came to play. Prior to the game, Andy, they had a big presentation to Pancho Villa.
Yep.
His family and his kids were there, and his son... Panicho, he was wearing his father's face mask and
I saw it.
And all that.
Yep.
Harrison Phillips, who was the draft pick that was announced by Pancho at the draft 2 years ago, he came running out of the tunnel wearing the Pancho sombrero.
Excellent.
So that was really neat. And there's some sad news about Harrison Phillips in a few minutes that we'll talk about. But this was a big game because this was going to be Tyler Kroft's return. He was healthy. He was ready to go. He was going to be on the field for this game, Andy. And guess what?
Didn't quite make it?
Thursday at practice, he hurt his other ankle.
Oh, boy.
This guy is so injury prone, and the Bills paid him a decent-sized salary to come, but they can end the deal after 1 year.
Yeah.
But this guy just can't get on the football field. It's sad, but...
can't catch a break. I always feel bad calling guys injury prone because, nobody feels worse about it than them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, there's just some guys that can't catch a break with that.
Well, Tyler Kroft couldn't come to play, but guess who did come to play?
Who, Ray?
The Buffalo Bills' entire defense, Andy.
Yes, they did.
These guys came to play. Cincinnati was ranked the second overall team in the NFL in passing yards prior to this game on Sunday, and the Bills held them to 70 yards total offense in the second half, or in the first half, with 0 passing yards.
Yeah, I started John Ross in fantasy hoping that even just a little tiny bit of that magic would come about against the Bills, though this was really the first big-time defense that the Bengals were going to play.
Yeah.
And they've been playing a lot of catch-up ball, so despite the fact that they have a lot of passing yards, they're not good. But anyway, keep going. You guys blanked them on me, unfortunately.
That's it. The Bills came out. They got an early lead, 14-0 on Cincinnati. And one of the things that we always talk about, that I've always talked about with football, is momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum. Bills are rolling again. They're inside the 30-yard line. They're in the red zone. And the Bills are running 100% in the red zone for scoring this year.
Excellent. They
hand the ball off to TJ Yeldon, who's filling in for him, and Gore are filling in for the injury to Devin Singletary. Yeldon gets about 5 yards upfield and fumbles the ball.
Oh, boy.
Giving the ball back to Cincinnati. We head into the halftime, 14-0. We come out of halftime, and I don't know what's going on with the Bills coaching staff because they come out in the third quarter and they did the exact same thing that they did against the Giants. They take their foot off the gas on the play calling and go run, and it just kills the team. They got to come out more aggressive. And Josh Allen, he does a lot of great things, Andy. A lot of great things.
Yep.
But he made a big mistake on Sunday. He did the classic Josh Allen where he gets into trouble.
Yeah.
And most quarterbacks take a sack, but he is strong enough to break away from these guys trying to tackle him. It's very rare this guy takes a sack.
Right.
He breaks away from the tackler, gets out to the right side of the field. Earlier in the first half, he threw a ball towards the out of bounds on a similar play and was called for grounding.
Yeah.
and they were backed up and lost the chance to kick a field goal. I
saw
there.
that play. Yep.
So this time he tries to go cross-body downfield,
and that's always an interception
into the hands of a defender.
Yep.
And that completely changed momentum in this game. Cincinnati came down, scored, and then it was 14-7. And then Cincinnati in the second, between the third and fourth quarter, they had 17 unanswered points to take a lead in this football game.
Yeah.
But that's where Josh Allen comes in. He is really playing well in the first 3 weeks in the fourth quarter, Andy.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter, this kid is a good to great quarterback. And he gets the ball at his own 25-yard line, makes a huge pass to Dawson Knox, the rookie tight end, who receives the ball, takes it 49 yards, running over defenders. This Dawson Knox had a great game, and they capped it off with a Frank Gore touchdown to take the lead back in the fourth. Tre'Davious White had 2 interceptions on the day. He had an interception late to seal the game. Now, I don't know if you saw this. He caught the ball, goes down to the field, gets up, runs into the end zone for a pitcher with the defense. He was never touched.
Right.
The Cincinnati coach goes crazy thinking it's a safety, or it should be called a safety, but the referees had decided that he had given himself up. But he's got to be smarter in the future and make sure to check off with a referee to say, hey, I'm down.
Yeah.
Right?
Am I safe? Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing. That third quarter with the lead, they've got to come out more aggressive if they want to compete with the Patriots in week 4.
Yeah.
These guys have got to come out and play mistake-free football, and more importantly, they've got to keep their foot on the gas pedal against the Patriots.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the beginning, like the first half of the game, and then I wasn't able to watch the second half. When I saw the score and how it ended up, I saw a couple of messages from you where you were basically saying, this may be the greatest Bills defense I've ever seen, and then, maybe not.
Yeah.
Listen, I figured when I saw the score that the game was never as close as the score would dictate because of what I saw in the first half. Knox jumped off the screen to me. I think I sent you. Yeah, he was a fun guy to watch. What I saw from Josh Allen in the first half and the stuff that I saw, I'm very impressed. I can't help but point out one, and that is, once again, he had Zay Jones going to the end zone, wide open touchdown, out threw him by about 12 yards. He doesn't quite have that throw in him yet, and I'm always going to notice those, but I'm eventually, I promise, going to stop pointing them out.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of good things to make up for that, but it was a good game. The Bills are 3-0. I believe we did a video where you asked me to play the schedule game for the Buffalo Bills, in which I had them going 3-0.
Yeah.
We won't get ahead of ourselves, though I have a little bit of a speed bump coming up for them, according to that video.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens. Now, if you're going to ask me if I want to make any changes to my prediction for the Buffalo Bills schedule right now, well, it's going exactly like I said it would. So there's not a big reason to make a change except for one, Ray, and that is the Miami Dolphins. I had Miami and Buffalo splitting on the season because they always do, but the Miami isn't splitting with anybody, Ray.
They're not splitting with anybody.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's now got Mason. They've got Mason
Rudolph
at quarterback. Yeah. Washington has no quarterback.
Well,
things are not as tough in the second half of the schedule as the first half. Just a couple stats for you, Andy. When Josh Allen passes for 60% or more, the Bills are 5-0.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yep.
Which he did again. Frank Gore is 357 yards away from tying Barry Sanders in the all-time rushing list. That's kind of interesting.
Yep.
And I talked to you about Harrison Phillips, number 99.
All right.
Tore his ACL on Sunday.
Boy.
Now, the Bills have a really good... They've got lots of defenders to plug holes and stuff like that. They've got a ton of depth this year. But Harrison Horrible Harry has been... he's been a great addition on that defense. Really sad to see him go for the year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's almost 10 minutes on the Bills. I'll try to go.
Sorry.
I'll try to go much lower on the Browns. But listen, I know right off the bat you're going to ask me how nervous are you about the Browns? How you feeling? And my answer is going to be this, Ray. I know you like to lump me into the hype train of the Cleveland Browns. Never once did I say Super Bowl. Never once did I say anything other than I'm nervous and this whole thing still has to come together. The only thing I will say is I will be disappointed if this team doesn't figure out a way to make the playoffs, especially with the easy second half of the year that they have and the big guns that they're going to attain halfway through, such as arguably the most dangerous running back in the entire NFL, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
What happened in the game on Monday night? I'll tell you what happened. The Browns played the defending NFC champions that are a very good team. They played them down 7 starters, which included the entire starting secondary. Both corners, both safeties out. In fact, one of the safeties that played the entire game, his name is Justin Burris. He was claimed from the Oakland Raiders on Friday.
Wow.
And played the entire game. And you know what? I'm not making an excuse. Oh, sorry. Our best linebacker, Christian Kirksey, is now on the 8-game IR, and he was out. And our best tight end, and some would say only tight end, David Njoku, is also out. But despite all of that, Ray, the Browns had the team to beat them, and they didn't. And the reason they didn't beat them is because of inefficiency on offense and, quite frankly, at times, offensive ineptitude. And I'm going to try not to go too far into this, but listen, here's what's happening. I'm not surprised at all at where the Browns are right now, but it's time. There's no Hugh Jackson-like leash on Freddie Kitchens. So here's what's happening. Quick history lesson. Last year, halfway through the season, when both Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley were fired and Freddie Kitchens took over the offense, he basically just took Todd Haley's offense, threw out the stuff he didn't like, kept the stuff that were to the Browns' strength, and added more things to the Browns' strength, which was quick passes, RPO, get the ball out of Baker's hands fast, which is where he excelled. It turned him into the all-time rookie passing touchdown leader. And Chris Collinsworth said it all game long. Listen, look, when Baker doesn't have the ball in his hands for more than 2 seconds, he's completely lights out.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was, after the season, Browns had to hire a new coach. And the one, I think, executive level decision that was made within the Browns from ownership all the way down was this: we're not separating Baker Mayfield and Freddie Kitchens. Baker needs some form of continuity. We need to keep him with Freddie. And I still believe in that decision. However, when you say that up front, when a coaching search starts, you limit yourself to 2 options. You either hire a new head coach and force Freddie on him as the offensive coordinator, or you let Freddie be the head coach, make sure he hires a very strong, experienced staff, and just see how it goes for him as he learns the role. They went with the second option. I'm still fine with that. Bruce Arians really wanted the Browns job, and Bruce Arians publicly said Freddie Kitchens, who was a member of his staff previously, would have been his offensive coordinator. So why they didn't interview him, who knows? Obviously, I think they wanted a younger guy, not a guy driving around on a golf cart during practice. But either way, they went with that. Now, Freddie hired a very experienced offensive coordinator to come in Todd Monken, who was from Tampa Bay. He runs an air raid offense, the opposite of the quick strike that Freddie was doing. This is 5- and 7-step dropbacks, let the routes develop, and get the ball out of the hands. Well, so our 2 concerns going into this season that I agreed with, right? The talking heads pump them all up, Super Bowl, because that makes it easy to crap on them and get clicks. But regardless, the big 2 concerns, offensive line and the head coach. And the offensive line and the head coach are both proving to be a problem. Now, Joe Thomas, Tomahawk Podcast, Browns Hall of Famer, analyzed the offensive line on his show, and there's nobody I trust more to analyze the offensive line than Joe, especially since he was right there at the Monday night game as part of the staff. He says the interior of the Browns offensive line so far this year has been really good. It's the 2 tackles on the outside that have been absolutely horrendous. So the Browns gave up a few plays up the middle against the Rams. That's Aaron Donald factor. Anybody's going to give that up. Yeah. But the guys on the outside, they cannot contain whatsoever. So what's happening is this marriage between the quick strike offense and the long passing game, the air raid. Basically, Freddie is succeeding when he's calling all of these play calls that are to Baker's strength, but because I think he can't resist the fact that he's got the superstar receivers on the outside and so on, that he keeps calling these passes that need to develop. And what's happening is our tackles can't hold. Now, to the point where Baker has lost trust in them, and now Baker Mayfield is seeing ghosts. Baker Mayfield is running into sacks. He's leaving the pocket when he doesn't even need to, when he's trying to let those routes develop. So what they need to do...
That one down on the 1 yard line?
Oh, yeah. He didn't need to go. There was also one where I wish Baker Mayfield would have channeled his inner Josh Allen. He drops back. All the rush comes from the outside and absolutely destroys the two tackles. The middle of the field is wide open. He could have walked for a first down, and he didn't go because Baker is always looking to pass. So, listen, there's time to fix this. I'm kind of ready for Freddie to just give up the offense and let Todd Monken be an offensive. This is the first time he's been an offensive coordinator and not calling the plays. But that said, it's his aspect and his flavor of the offense that's killing them right now. Yeah. Freddie needs to simplify things. He needs to go back to what they were doing before. And then he also needs to figure out a way to be a better head coach. He needs to clean up the penalties. Here's the encouraging thing that I have to say right now, Ray, and that is that the personalities on this team, which is what a lot of people thought Freddie was going to have a hard time dealing with, is not the problem.
It's not the problem.
All of these players are, which include,
I don't know. You're telling me, so I'll listen.
Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield, and all the personalities on this team are trying to fall on the sword for Freddie, and he won't let them. He's saying, "I am the problem." They're all in this together. They're a team. All of these players are saying we all need to be better, and they're taking ownership. That's the opposite of what happened with Hugh Jackson, who refused to say that he was the problem at all, and that the players had to play better, and the players turned on him. Yeah. So that's the encouraging thing I have to say. Look. The Browns had the second easiest schedule from now until the end of the NFL. If you're wondering, the Bills had the fifth easiest as well. There's plenty of time to turn this around. The Steelers are struggling. The Bengals are trash. And the Ravens, we'll talk about them later, but have they really beaten anybody good? We'll see. Listen, you always call me negative, Andy. It's time for me to be optimistic. There's no point in me being anything else. So I do believe that the Browns can get this ship righted. And I think that those are the big problems right now is, listen, John Dorsey sabotaged the offensive line, so they need to figure out a way to fix it. And they need to go back to Baker Mayfield and the offense's strengths. That's all I got to say at this point, man.
All right, here's just my two comments. I think Dorsey's got a huge problem on his hands because I think Freddie Kitchens is not a good coach. You mentioned the fact that the team he's got the worst league penalty minutes across the board. It's terrible. Yeah. Baker has regressed. He has not progressed. And if we were to line the top 5 quarterbacks like we did last year, Baker's not at the top of that list right now.
He's still at the top of mine, but I get you.
Offense is very bland out of Cleveland right now. And the defense is even taking a step back. Now, the safeties, that's interesting. But here's the thing. The Browns are going for it on fourth down. It's 4th and 9. Yeah. Now, I know the other analysts are talking about this, but I wrote this down when I was watching the game. Yeah. 4th and 9, they run a drop play.
So here's
what is going on with that call? You can't call a drop play on 4th and 9.
So thankfully, I'm the Browns fan here who listens to everything that's happening. And here's what apparently happened. And there's no excuse for this. This has to be cleaned up. But there was a penalty on that play. And for whatever reason, the person feeding the information to Freddie Kitchens thought it was 3rd down. Baker goes out there, lets the play clock run all the way down, trying to hard snap to try to get the defensive line to jump because he's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And in fact, you can actually see him as he's going off the field going, why? Ultimately, he let it go all the way down. He couldn't get them to jump. He was told to run a play. He runs the draw. It doesn't work. So that doesn't make things better. That makes things worse with the lack of communication there. Freddie fell on the sword for that one as well. Listen,
the only other thing I'm going to say about Baker is this. He had 4 chances down by the 10-yard line to tie this game up against the Rams. As bad as it went, they had an opportunity to tie this game up.
They did, yep.
4 chances inside the 10-yard line or right near the 10-yard line.
Right.
And Baker couldn't come through on those. And that's where I talk about those big moments for Baker. I just question.
Put the ball right on the tight end's hands at one point. Great player, great play by the defensive. But here's what I want to see. Run Nick Chubb, your best offensive weapon at the moment, 3 times in a row down there.
Yeah, they didn't run him once.
No, they didn't. Empty backfield because they don't have a blocking tight end at this point. Listen, there's personnel problems. Dorsey needs to fix this up. Hire somebody off the street, get a fullback or something, and run the ball. All right,
let's move on.
Game of the week.
Baltimore goes against Kansas City, two of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league this year. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Arguably.
Okay, Kansas City 33-28 in this game. One of the things that I'm going to point out, very first thing I noticed in this game, Andy, and Scotty Chisholm, I have to say, this is to you. I've always said that Lamar Jackson is a run-first option quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's not true anymore, Andy. This kid stood in the pocket looking to make a play downfield, and when things broke down, then he made his attempt to rush. But he was standing in the pocket. Baltimore's front seven brings a lot of pressure. Chiefs linebackers, I find them very improved. That combination of Hardman and Robinson with Kelsey and Watkins, I mean, that's an unbelievable offense right now. Who would have figured? And wait till Hill's back. And LaShawn McCoy and Williams, they're a great combination running backs out of the backfield for Kansas City right now.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram is a huge power back for Baltimore. And the last thing that really that caught my mind, Lamar Jackson. We talk about Josh Allen making those hero ball throws. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson did it twice in this game.
Yeah.
The one throw, he was way back on his heel and threw the ball downfield, and the defender doesn't go for the ball, or he went for the ball, and there was a reception made at the end of the field. Another one was made at the 5-yard line. He got lucky on those plays, but he does make some real skeptical throws as well.
Yeah.
But that's my notes from the game.
Well, my comment on this game is that though the game ended 33-28, which is a 5-point margin of victory, this game was never close. This game was never that close at all. It was 30-13 at the end of the third quarter, and the Baltimore Ravens scored a lot of garbage time touchdowns while the Chiefs were playing prevent defense for the most part and just trying to get the clock ran out. So, yes, Lamar Jackson is better than we gave him credit for. However, Lamar Jackson hasn't beaten a good team yet. In fact, anybody who's played the Dolphins right now should just remove one of their wins from their win column and just cancel the game out as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to see...
Including the New England Patriots?
Including the New England Patriots.
All right, I'm on board with that. I'm on board.
So now, I'm not saying convert it to a loss. I'm just saying ignore that win and ignore all those points that you scored in it, which is contributing to your crazy point differential right now.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, listen, I've already admitted on the last show that I was too hard on him. So I'm not throwing him any bones this time. This game was never close.
Okay.
Never close.
All right, let's move over to one of our favorite segments. We're going to roll through these, folks. What the... Yep. All right, I'm talking Antonio Brown.
Okay.
What a ridiculous... How things have turned since our show last week. Yeah. He was gone to the Patriots last week. Remember and how upset I was? Well, I prayed to the football gods. And some crazy things happened. Yeah. On Thursday, Andy, a new suspect comes out and gave some information to Sports Illustrated. Antonio Brown, in a group chat, threatens this person. Yeah. That chat made its way to the press. Mm-hmm. Word surfaced Thursday night. On Friday, around 2:30 in the afternoon, Belichick had a press conference with the press to talk about the upcoming game. Yeah. He specifically said, I'm not taking any questions about Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
The first 3 questions were about Antonio Brown. Yeah. Belichick left the podium pissed off.
What a punk.
He was so pissed off.
Face
he walked
the music,
away.
Bill. Face the music.
Heads back, and I'm not kidding. About 45 minutes later, if that, maybe a half hour later, tweet comes out from Antonio Brown thanking the Patriots for his time.
Oh, yeah. And then he sent...
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, since then, the Patriots agreed to give him $9 million guaranteed money, $5 million in September. He gets another $4 million in January. The Patriots have withheld on paying him the first installment.
Yeah, they don't have to pay him because they released him ahead of the deadline. So they don't have to pay him any of this.
It was guaranteed, though.
Right. If he was still on the roster by the deadline. So he's going to file a grievance, I'm sure.
The Pats knew the player they were going to get.
Yeah.
They knew the issues that he had when they brought him in.
Nobody knew he had these issues, Ray. Nobody knew he had these issues.
They knew about the first issue. The Patriots did.
They've said they didn't.
I don't believe them.
Well,
I think
it's
they
on
have
the record
to pay,
that they didn't.
I think they have to pay. It has to count towards the cap. Yeah. And I think the NFLPA should go after every dime they can from Antonio Brown because the Patriots gave him guaranteed money.
All right. Well, this turned into an anti-Patriots rant. All right. Do you have any more WTF? All right. The only WTF here. There you go.
Sorry, I'm dying here.
Man, he's having a hard time. He needs to get into this Moose Light.
Patriots killing me.
All right. My WTF this week is just the Packers. All right. Look. The Packers offense, what is going on? Aaron Rodgers is healthy. They got all these weapons and everything like that. The Packers offense through 3 games have 58 points scored. Other than the Bears who have 50, that is the lowest in the entire NFC. All right? I've got Devontae Adams. I've got the top Packers on my fantasy squads. I'm getting nothing from them. Yes, they're 3-0, so kudos to their defense. But what is going on with the Packers offense? You're ticking me off quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers, greatest of all time? Come on. Let's figure this out. There's a lot of people that are still saying that. The Packers offense is terrible. That's, you know what? I had another one, but I'm not going to get into it.
You are amped up.
Let's fly through some odds and ends.
Odds and ends. All right, here we go. Odds and ends. Tariq Cohen.
Yep.
Running back for the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Decides to go live on social media from the locker room after the game.
Yeah.
And Kyle Long is in the background changing from his shower with his ding-a-ling wanging around in the background for a full view on social media.
All right, Tariq, well done.
The tweet has come, or the post has come down. And
sure.
You know social media, once you remove something, it's gone for life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's not everywhere on... Come on, Tariq Cohen, man. All right. What else you got?
Monday night, Alex Smith was walking around the field in pregame with his wife, and I didn't notice him get a lot of attention. Like, they weren't talking about it, but he was walking really good, Danny. Like, he even had a pair of dress shoes with like the half-inch quarter heel, whatever.
Yeah.
Any chance he's back in 2019?
Well, I don't know. I didn't see him out there, but just walking good. I don't know that really means anything in terms of whether or not you're ready to play football. I would guess no, Ray, based on the severity of the injury. But this is the first I've actually heard of it. I didn't actually see him walking on the sideline. So, yep.
Cam Newton has a Lisfranc injury to his foot. Now, doing a little research on this, it often requires season-ending surgery.
Yep.
What they've decided to do, Kyle Allen is going to continue to start right up until the Panthers' bye week.
Yep.
And then at that point, it looks like they're going to make a decision on Cam. Should Cam just fold his tent and take the surgery now? Or do you think this is an injury he can play through?
No, he should. Like, I'm sick and tired of Cam always playing through injuries and everybody making excuses for Cam. Look, they're legitimate injuries, all right? So I'm not trying to be hard on Cam at this point. But look, for Cam to get back to a Super Bowl, for Cam to rejuvenate his career, he needs to get healthy. So if this thing likely requires surgery, just go get it, Cam, while you're young.
Yeah. Thursday Night Football, Andy.
Yeah.
What a barn burner.
Yeah.
But in the first half of football, there was 15 flags thrown by the officials.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Brady came out with a tweet on Twitter. I'm turning this game off. I can't watch these ridiculous penalties anymore. Mm-hmm. Let us play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw you sound off on that real quick.
Listen, Tom, if you happen to see this show, it's you that have caused all these damn penalties in this football league. The tuck rule, roughing the passer, hitting the quarterback at the knee. Can I go on, Andy? Half these rules come from your whining and crying on the football field. And now that you're 1 year from retirement, you want to make a big statement about, I can't take all these rules, let us play. This is an absolute joke.
Okay. You feel better?
Feel better.
Okay. All right. Any more odds and ends, or shall we get into our overreaction?
No, we got one more. Babies out the window.
That was great. Yeah. So there was a viral video where a man was being interviewed. Now, I don't know the entire story, but apparently there was a building. It was on fire, and he helped with the rescue, and it got to a point where they actually had to drop some babies out of the window from a burning building because there was no other way to get them out, and he was part of the people that were catching these babies, and he got interviewed by if you go find this, guys, it's all over YouTube. If you haven't seen it, it's all over Twitter. But he was being interviewed by the news. He was all pumped up. He was rowdy. And he decided to point out when he was saying that we had to catch the babies when they were tossed out, that we were catching them, unlike Nelson Aguilar. So this was a big-time Eagles fan, and he saw the opportunity, and he decided, I mean, this guy's a hero, and he decided that he had to take a dig at the Eagles. I thought it was great. I saw just earlier, Nelson Aguilar saw the video and actually tweeted out saying, this guy is a hero. Thank you very much for being a hero in the community. I want you at the next game, and asked Twitter to get him in touch with this guy.
Yep, that's great.
Aguilar handled it like a champ, and it's a funny video. Go check it out.
That was good. All right, overreaction.
Yeah.
Here you go, Andy.
Yeah.
I got one for you, or do you want to go first?
Here, I'll get mine out of the way really quickly.
Okay.
My big overreaction is anybody calling Daniel Jones the savior in New York. All right, listen. He won that. It was the biggest barrel of luck that I've ever seen in him winning that game. Yes, he was impressive. Yes, he made some good plays, but at the end of the day, this was just Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay was there to win it, and their field goal kicker absolutely blew it for them, and that's how Daniel Jones got the win.
He brought them back from way down.
He did, and I'm very impressed with it, but to all of a sudden, out of the blue, after one game, call this guy the savior of New York is absolutely ridiculous. Teams are ready to play. Listen, he was really good against the blitz, Ray. Really good against the blitz. So this next team that mush rushes him or decides not to blitz nearly as much, let's see what happens. Before we call him the savior of New York.
I'm telling you right now, I love the kid. I thought it was very exciting. I love the team on the sideline. I loved Eli Manning. And, I mean, remember, this is the kid that Baker took a shot at in the offseason, saying, I can't believe this kid should have been the first-round draft pick for the Giants.
Out of context. But the only other comment I have on Daniel Jones, I love how everybody says he's like an Eli clone. Look, yes, he looks like Eli, but, man, the guy's got wheels. He can run.
I love him.
Eli Manning trips walking around. So
my overreaction for you, Andy, is Daniel Jones has stated he's shocked that Baker Mayfield was a first-round overall pick.
Good one, Daniel. I actually saw a funny breaking news. A lot of people are putting this on Facebook right now. Breaking news out of Cleveland. Baker Mayfield has been diagnosed with being overrated.
Yes.
That was pretty funny, too. Listen,
there you go.
Have your fun, folks. Have your fun.
All right. Let's move on to some fantasy. Andy, it was not a good week in fantasy for me.
Oh, me either.
I lost in both my leagues.
Yeah.
Chris Burke of our RBC league beat me 141 to 136 and change. He did it unexpectedly last night and Monday Night Football. I had two busts on my roster. I got TJ Hawkinson, who only gave me 1.1, and Adrian Peterson gave me 4.4. I had Dawson Knox on the bench that would have given me 14.6. I would have won my matchup. So I'm down 2-1. Then Chris Burke makes a trade offer to me today, Andy. Mm-hmm. He's offering Marvin Jones Jr. Jones Jr. and Joe Mixon for Adrian Peterson and Michael Thomas.
Interesting.
I don't want to separate with Michael Thomas, because he was my first pick overall in the draft.
Yep.
I was 8th out of 14. And number two is I'm not a huge fan of Joe Mixon. But
Right.
Will he put more points up than Adrian Peterson? Probably.
He will. But in this league, it's a PPR league, and what he's trying to do is get you to overreact to Breeze being out for a little while. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than we think. He's no Drew Brees, but Drew Brees is not done for the season either.
Right.
So when I look at this trade, I understand why he's sending it to you. I, too, wouldn't make it unless I desperately needed help at running back.
I'm still 2-1. It's not like I'm 1-2.
And I don't love Joe Mixon either, so... All right.
My other league, I also lost in that one, 113 to 108 to my arch rival, John Bukeveld. Yeah. And again, I had TJ Hawkinson starting in that league, which cost me that game as well.
All right. Well, I went in the leagues that we follow. I won all my Yahoo leagues but one, but those are not exciting. Now, in the Dynasty League, I was playing Jamie Drysdale.
I know, I heard.
And I had him beat. I had him beat by so much. There was nothing that he was going to be able to do about it, and it was before my quarterback even played. And then, you know what happened? The Mike Evans happened and had 45 fantasy points. Ultimately, Baker Mayfield's the reason I lost it because he couldn't even put up 10 points. But that said, I brought it back. I had the Bears defense, and I was pretty excited about them. They had 21 points, so I ended up losing to Jamie 173 to 164. I am 0-3 in that league. And speaking of 0-3, I also lost in the RBC League to Jason Sampson, 119 to 108. And I'm going to make a quick declaration for you about fantasy right now, Ray. In every league that I possibly can this week, I am benching Baker Mayfield until he gets it together. Unfortunately, in one of my leagues where I would love to bench him, it's a 14-team league. There's almost nothing to pick up, and my backup is Jimmy Garoppolo, who's on bye week, so I have to play him.
You're starting him.
Now, the only other thing I want to talk about in fantasy, man, is listen, I drafted Antonio Brown in that league. I thought he was going to have a good season. I knew he was a knucklehead, but I wasn't worried about the helmet stuff. I thought he was going to play. I thought he was going to have a good season. I got offered a bunch of trades when he got dropped from Oakland. I said, boys, and I made a public comment, which you saw. I said, I guarantee you he's on a team again within the next few hours. And he was. He went to the Patriots. I turned down a bunch of trades, and then we find out not only is he a knucklehead, but he's in likely a horrible person.
Yeah.
I have him on my bench right now. There's no way I'm getting trade offers at this point. I got to hold on to him, but I can admit that I was very nervous about getting Antonio Brown, but I just thought he was too good to pass up where I took him, and now I really wish I had have accepted one of those trades or never drafted him at all.
I did the same mistake in my ITRZ, and to make it even worse, I have Antonio Brown and Kareem Hunt on my bench in that league, so I got to move on one of them. Here's just a couple free agent waiver wire moves for you this weekend. If you're looking for agents, you got to pick up the hot star quarterback if you need one, Daniel Jones, because this guy can put up points. This guy can put up points. Taylor Gabriel, the wide receiver for Chicago, had a big week.
Brown,
Jordan Akins with Houston, the tight end. He's had a couple decent weeks. And Jeff Wilson, the running back with San Francisco.
Wilson's been good.
His last 2 weeks, he's had great, and they're on the waiver in most leagues. So there's a couple moves for you as well.
Perfect. All right.
Let's get into our pick'ems and get out of here, Andy.
We both went 4-1 last week, Ray, and we both missed our upset game.
Okay.
So I'm now 14-1 on the season and 2-1 in the upsets. You are 13-2 on the season and 1-2 in the upsets. You want to give me your picks, or you want mine first?
I'll give you mine.
Okay.
I'm taking the Giants over Washington. I'm taking the Chargers over Miami. I'm taking Kansas City over Detroit. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens, Andy, over Cleveland. And my upset of the week, I'm going to be there with my laser pointers. There's going to be numerous things going on.
Don't incriminate yourself, because if there actually is a laser pointer incident.
The Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots.
Awesome. Listen, Ray, believe it or not, I actually do root on Sundays for the Bills to win. I do not wish for the Bills to lose to either A, prove myself right, or really give you the gears, okay? I'm going to play some psychological warfare with the sports gods right here, okay? I'm taking the Ravens over the Browns this week. I'm taking the Patriots over the Bills. I'm taking the Chiefs over the Lions. I'm taking the Chargers over the Dolphins. And my upset is the Jags over the Broncos in Denver.
Okay.
All right. So I am picking both the Browns and Bills to lose. And let's hope that I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong.
Yep.
It's going to be a very interesting game in New England this week. Or in Buffalo this week against New England.
Which you are traveling to.
I'll be at the game. These are the only two teams in the league that are 3-0 that are playing each other. So this should be the highlight game of the week.
Hold on. The New England Patriots are actually only 2-0 because anybody who's played the Miami Dolphins, that win does not actually count.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they're two unbeaten teams.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Andy, so I did kind of put that game aside. I also looked at the Washington and Giants game, which I think that could be interesting with Daniel Jones, of course.
Yeah.
And then I got the Eagles and Green Bay, but I'm open to hear what you think the game of the week is.
I think we should go with Washington and the Giants. I want to see Daniel Jones continue to be the savior, especially now that we know Saquon Barkley is going to be out for an extended period of time.
7 weeks. 7 weeks.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how he he performs within a division game. Listen, if we didn't automatically talk Bills and Browns every week, I actually would have said Patriots and Bills was the game of the week, but you're going to give us 10 minutes regardless on that one, probably more since you're going to be traveling to the game. So we will not use that one. So let's go Washington and New York.
Sounds good.
All right.
Listen, guys, it's this podcast is 40 minutes. That's not too bad, but we did go a little overboard on the Bills and Browns this week.
Yeah.
But listen,
We'll get better.
we will tighten those things up going forward.
All right. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. You can unlike as well. And please leave us a rating on your podcast provider if you're listening to us in audio. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
Have a
Thanks,
good week.
guys.
See ya.
Great week.